This is the face of the man who broke Mexico, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, a ghost who finally ran out of places to hide. For years, he ruled from the shadows of the Jalisco highlands. This remote cabin in Tapalpa was his final fortress. Surrounded by pine forest and a dozen elite bodyguards, he believed he was untouchable. But even the most sophisticated security detail cannot protect a man whose time has finally come. When the order was signed in the National Palace, the message was clear. There would be no negotiation, only an extraction or an ending. Listen to the authority in his voice. This is a man who didn't just bribe the law, he commanded it. He spoke to the police like they were his employees, because for a long time, they were. But on February 22nd, that power evaporated in a hail of gunfire. The king is dead, but the kingdom is burning. 252 roadblocks, cities paralyzed by fire. This is the violent legacy of El Mencho, a nation left to pick up the pieces of a war that is far from over. Today, we go inside the final hours of the world's most wanted man. In the 80s, he was just another migrant in California. He dealt heroin in San Francisco and Redwood City, arrested, imprisoned, and deported twice. But the U.S. prison system was his university. He learned the market, the routes, and the chemistry. Back in Mexico, Mencho joined the police. As an officer in Cabo Corrientes, he studied the law from the inside, only to see its vulnerabilities. He eventually traded the badge for a hitman's rifle, joining the Mencho cartel. By 2009, the old guard was falling. Mencho saw his opening. He broke away from the Sinaloa cartel and founded the CJNG. He treated his cartel like a franchise, expanding with a speed and brutality that left the old capos in shock. Under Mencho, the CJNG became more than a gang. They were an army. They pioneered the use of monstruos, improvised armored vehicles. They didn't just traffic drugs. They held territory with military precision. He was the only man brave or crazy enough to declare open war. In 2015, his men used a rocket launcher to down a military helicopter. It was a message to the world. Mencho wasn't hiding from the law. He was fighting it. For years, the mountains were his armor. But on February 20th, the armor cracked. Intelligence didn't come from a satellite or a wiretap. It came from a human slip. A trusted associate was tracked delivering a partner to this exact cabin in Tapalpa. While the world slept, the Mexican military was moving into position. They didn't just have a coordinate. They had the man. The ghost of Jalisco was finally in their sights. This cabin in the mountains of Tapalpa was his final throne. He suffered from kidney disease, isolated and surrounded by 3 rings of security. He thought he was untouchable. But even a kingpin has a weakness. Sunday morning, 2 a.m. 6 ghost helicopters hovered over the mountains while elite paratroopers dropped into the mist. The firefight lasted for hours. Mencho fled into the undergrowth, mortally wounded by special forces. The reaction to his death was surgical chaos. 252 roadblocks, 20 states paralyzed. The cartel's message was clear. If the king falls, the country burns with him. The king is dead, but the fire is still raging. 72 dead. The CJNG's machine is still operational. As Mexico prepares for the World Cup, a new, bloodier chapter begins. The Lord of the Roosters is gone, but his shadow still covers the land.